This is the Intercontinental Broadcasting Corporation. Sa bagong Pilipinas.
Good evening. This is 13 News.
Let's get into the headlines right now. Filipina tennis ace Alex Ayala gets the spotlight at Malacanang after historic Wimbledon run.
Tension builds during the impeachment trial as the court issues subpoena against NBI Director Matibag.
Cabinet Secretary Benher Abalos says resigned Health Secretary Ted Herbosa was not forced to step down.
President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. opens new port facilities in Camiguin and brings aid straight to the islanders.
And tragedy strikes in Thailand. A pub blaze in Bangkok claims at least 27 lives.
All these and more here on 13 News.
First in the news tonight, President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. and First Lady Liza Araneta Marcos formally welcomed Filipina tennis star Alex Ayala to Malacanang for a homecoming reception. The president awarded Ayala a presidential citation for her historic performance at Wimbledon, where she became the first Filipino to reach the round of 16 of the prestigious tournament. Ayala, who presented the president with a cap and tennis balls, said she takes great pride in her Filipino roots and vowed to continue representing the country to the best of her ability.
The entire country knows that, well, you have already begun, but you are going to keep going.
Meanwhile, Ayala returns home with another milestone, reaching a career-high world number 28 in the latest WTA rankings. She now holds 1,666 ranking points following her breakthrough campaign at Wimbledon and is set to resume action at the Mubadala DC Open in the United States later this month.
Ipinagmamalaki ang pagiging Pilipino. I promise that I will continue to represent the Philippines in the best way that I possibly can.
After 6 hours of hearing, the Senate impeachment court adjourned tonight, marking the fourth day of Vice President Sara Duterte's trial. The court issued a subpoena for NBI Director Melvin Matibag, who is set to testify on Monday next week. Tomorrow, prosecution witness attorney Zulaika Lopez will take the stand as hearings continue under Article 4 of the complaint against the Vice President. The prosecution has yet to file its planned subpoena for the Vice President to attend her trial as witness, but if VP Sara will be eventually called to testify, the panel stressed that the rules governing an impeachment trial, particularly those applicable to a witness, are different from those in a criminal case. Meanwhile, Malacanang confirmed President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. has yet to receive any request for written authority to open the green box containing the Vice President's tax records. The palace assured that any request will be studied immediately, stressing the importance of those records in the impeachment proceedings, which officials say could play a key role in determining the case's direction. And tonight, the Senate impeachment court pressed on with testimonies from its second prosecution witness of the complaint against Vice President Sara Duterte. The witness detailed the National Bureau of Investigation's probe into alleged threats made by the VP against top officials. Our news correspondent Patrick Gupo has the full details.
After NBI Senior Agent John Mark Calilong authenticated the videos and digital evidence last week, the prosecution presented NBI Regional Director Attorney Lotok. Lotok, a lawyer and former chief of the NBI Cybercrime Division, told the impeachment court that the investigation started on November 23, 2024, the same day Vice President Duterte made the controversial statements during an online press conference.
Well, under the law, specifically Republic Act 10867, the NBI has primary jurisdiction to undertake investigation cases involving threats to security and assault against the persons of the highest officials.
Lotok said he instructed his team to follow the 4 phases of cybercrime investigation, starting with preserving the digital evidence. The first evidence secured was a November 23 online press conference live-streamed on former presidential spokesperson Harry Roque's Facebook page. Lotok also testified that the NBI issued a subpoena to Vice President Duterte, but she did not personally appear and instead sent her lawyer.
I think the Vice President, in effect, was saying there were office matters to tend to, so she cannot attend the scheduled subpoena.
He added that Vice President submitted written responses to the Bureau. The witness also said the NBI reviewed another online press conference held on October 18, 2024, where investigators found additional statements they considered relevant to the case. According to Lotok, the NBI eventually found probable cause to file 3 counts of grave threats and 1 count of inciting to sedition. During questioning by the senator judges, Senator Bamakino asked whether the NBI was able to identify the alleged hitman mentioned by Duterte. Lotok admitted that investigators weren't able to identify the person but said the Bureau treated that statement seriously because they came from the country's second highest official.
Unfortunately, wala kaming ma-establish na validated information na confirmed. So, in fact, hanggang ngayon, nag-aantay po kami. Hindi yung katulad dito sa nangyari, may apparent commission of the crime dahil nandiyan yung video.
Ang ibig niyo pong sabihin, bilang NBI, hindi nyo nahanap yung taong ito.
The second highest official of the land, sinabi yan, hindi ho biro yan na may kasamang galit. We took it very serious, Your Honor. Patong-patong na ho siya, convolution ng iba't ibang issue. So nakita ho namin, talagang galit ang Vice Presidente sa...
Senator Erwin Tulfo also asked whether the NBI found evidence to establish a motive.
Did the investigation uncover any evidence?
We focus on the investigation on the alleged grave threats.
Meanwhile, the prosecution also replayed before the impeachment court Vice President Duterte's October 18 and November 23 online press conferences, including the videos showing her remarks against President Marcos, the First Lady, and former Speaker Romualdez. The defense later cross-examined Lotok and questioned inconsistencies in the dates appearing on several NBI documents. Lotok said he was not responsible for making changes to those records. Patrick Gupo, IBC News.
The Sandigan Bayan 3rd Division has ordered Senator Rodante Marcoleta transferred to the Philippine General Hospital for new clinical tests. He will be returned to the PNP General Hospital before his scheduled court appearance on July 15. Earlier, Marcoleta had been declared fit to travel after nearly 2 weeks of confinement. Medical examinations show his blood pressure is now stable, though doctors recommend completing his antibiotics. According to hospital officials, they will comply if the Sandigan Bayan orders Marcoleta's court appearance before treatment ends. Authorities assure that both his medical needs and security arrangements are being closely monitored.
Depende po kung sasabihin po ng Sandigan Bayan, susunod lang naman po kami kung ano po yung sasabihin sa amin.
To boost tourism and ease travel for thousands of passengers in Camiguin, President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. led the inauguration of new port facilities in the province. The chief executive also inspected hospital services and launched aid programs before flying to Singapore tomorrow for a working visit. IBC News correspondent Harley Valbuena has the full report.
To continuously discover the great tourism potential of Camiguin Island and Mindanao, this is the primary aim of the construction of light craft landing station and new port operations building of Port of Benoni in Mahinog, which President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. inaugurated and inspected today. The President acknowledged that facilities in Camiguin are already not enough amid rising number of tourists, causing irregularities in traveling.
During peak season, may problema. Hahanap ng boat ticket, Lahat ng mga traveler na naghahanap ng boat ticket nagiging biktima sa mga unauthorized ticket processors o fixer na pinagsasamantala ng mga turista at saka mga lokal na nais na magbiyahe, na ligtas at saka maginhawa.
The 86.9 million peso project comes with a dedicated facility for small sea vessels, ensuring navigational safety, resolving maritime congestion, and enhancing the operational capability of the port for a safer and more comfortable travel of residents and visitors. 950,000 passengers and over 155,000 for vehicles are projected to use the port of Benoni by 2030. This will also give way for faster delivery of fish catch in the island. The president then issued a directive to the Department of Transportation.
First, we must eliminate the bottlenecks at our transport hubs so we can welcome travelers more efficiently, more conveniently, more comfortably. We must modernize our airports and seaports nationwide so that our infrastructure can match the demand of our booming tourist industry.
President Marcos Jr. also visited the Camiguin General Hospital to check the situation of patients and ensure the proper implementation of the zero balance billing. He also launched the Bawat Bayan Makikinabang program in Camiguin, interacting with presidential scholars and distributing financial aid to barangays. Meanwhile, tomorrow, the chief executive will head to Singapore for a working visit until July 16. Malacanang says the president will pay a courtesy call on Prime Minister Lawrence Wong, with talks expected to boost bilateral ties and expand cooperation in trade, investment, health, environment, and regional development. First Lady Liza Araneta Marcos will also join the Global Economic Cooperation East Summit alongside business and government leaders.
Bahagi ito sa pagsulong ng pamahalaan sa mas matatag na bilateral relations ng Pilipinas at Singapore na magsisilbing susunod na chair ng Association of Southeast Asian Nations sa susunod na taon.
And days after the president return, he is expected to deliver his fifth SONA or State of the Nation address. The Philippine National Police is preparing security measures for upcoming SONA on July 27, assuring that a comprehensive plan is in place with continuous monitoring of potential threats as militant groups plan protest actions during the event. Harley Valbuena, IBC News.
President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. is calling for calmer seas amid turbulent waters. At the 10th anniversary of the 2016 Arbitral Award, he declared the South China Sea must remain a sea of peace, cooperation, and connectivity. IBC correspondent Jinky Batigados has the story.
Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the Republic of the Philippines, His Excellency
President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. reaffirmed the Philippines' firm commitment to upholding international law and the rules-based international order as the country's marked the 10th anniversary of the 2016 Arbitral Award. During a diplomatic reception, the president said the Arbitral Award represents more than a legal victory, describing it as a symbol of the peaceful settlement of disputes through the rule of law rather than coercion or the use of force.
As we mark the conclusion of today's landmark commemorative conference, we gather not merely to celebrate a legal milestone, but to reaffirm a living truth. That peace can only endure when it is anchored on justice, mutual respect, and the sovereign equality of all nations.
The president said the Philippines' decision to pursue arbitration in 2013 reflected its choice of dialogue, peace, and respect for international law. He added that the 2016 Arbitral Award is not only about maritime boundaries, but also about protecting the livelihoods of Filipino fisherfolks, the well-being of coastal communities, and the future of the next generation.
When we defend the rule of law, we are not merely defending lines on a map. We are defending the lives, the livelihoods, and the future of our peoples.
President Marcos also stressed that compliance with the United Nations Charter and the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, or UNCLOS, remains non-negotiable. He also called on the international community to remain united in the strengthening international law and preserving peace and stability.
The South China Sea must never be an arena of conflict. It must remain a sea of peace, cooperation, and connectivity.
The president concluded his remarks by calling for the continued defense of the rule of law, stronger cooperation among nations, and sustained efforts to keep the West Philippine Sea peaceful for the benefit of the Filipino people and the wider region. Jinky Baticados, IBC News.
President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. has appointed Jose Britanio Pujalte as the new Department of Health or DOH Secretary. Former DOH Secretary Ted Herbosa has tendered his resignation after undergoing a bilateral knee replacement surgery. In a statement, Herbosa said he will be going through 3 to 4 months of rehabilitation, saying it will be unfair that he will not be able to devote his full time to the DOH. Cabinet Secretary Benhur Abalos has denied claims that Herbosa was forced to step down.
There's no truth to the rumor na sinasabing nagano siya, nagpunta ako, no. I just visited him in the hospital dahil na kinamusta ko lang siya dahil naanitan niya.
New Health Secretary Pujalte is a veteran orthopedic surgeon and has served as a public health administrator.
Inaasahang pangunahan ni Dr. Pujalte Jr. ang ahensya sa pagpapatuloy ng mga hakbang ni Pangulong Marcos Jr. upang higit na mapatatag ang healthcare system sa bansa, maisulong ang dekalidad na serbisyong pangkalusugan at maisulong ang mabuting kalusugan para sa lahat.
Meanwhile, Malacanang has defended the appointment of former Department and Budget Management Secretary Amina Pangandaman as she becomes the new appointed Chair and Chief Executive Officer of the state-owned Al-Amana Islamic Investment Bank of the Philippines. Pangandaman was linked to the massive flood control scandal last year in connection with her role as DBM chief. But the palace says she is presumed innocent unless proven otherwise.
Government agencies have stepped up relief efforts after Typhoon Inday and the enhanced southwest monsoon battered the country. The Department of Social Welfare and Development, or DSWD, has already distributed over 45 million pesos worth of food packs, non-food items, and financial aid, along with psychosocial support for affected families. The Office of Civil Defense assures round-the-clock monitoring as the death toll climbs to 21, mostly from landslides in Sarangani. So far, more than 650,000 individuals or 146,000 families have been impacted by the severe weather. Tonight, the low-pressure area east of Visayas has developed into a tropical depression. It was last spotted 1,205 kilometers east of eastern Visayas, still outside the Philippine area of responsibility. It may enter PAR tonight or tomorrow morning, July 14, and will be named Josie. Once inside, it is expected to track northward before turning northeast and exiting by Wednesday, July 15. According to Pag-asa, it is less likely to directly affect local weather or sea conditions in the coming days. For now, the southwest monsoon continues to bring cloudy skies and scattered rains over Ilocos region, Benguet, Zambales, Bataan, and Tarlac. Metro Manila and the rest of Luzon will see partly cloudy to cloudy skies with possible rains by early morning and localized thunderstorms in the afternoon and evening, while the rest of the country will have generally fair weather with isolated showers. Coming up next, Senator Risa Hontiveros is seeking a Senate inquiry into the rising power rates nationwide. Stay tuned. This is 13 News.
The Cine Bata Video Festival is calling for submission of video entries for, by, and with children. Submit videos with the theme, Hear My Voice. Deadline for submission of entries is on July 31, 2026. For details, visit or contact the following.
Welcome back to the program. Here's a quick summary of today's hot topics. First off, Senator Risa Ontiveros calls for more consumer protection as she files a Senate resolution seeking an investigation into unfair policies of the Energy Regulatory Commission, or ERC. This comes after complaints from several households slapped with abnormally high electric bills due to defective meter readings. Ontiveros insists that ERC's policies must be reviewed and updated. On to another story. The National Bureau of Investigation has submitted its recommendations to the Department of Justice on the deaths of the two Ateneo athletes. Several officials and coaching staff of the Ateneo de Manila University men's basketball team will face criminal charges, reckless imprudence resulting in 2 counts of homicide, and will file against former Ateneo Blue Eagles head coach Thomas Anthony Tab Baldwin, 6 assistant coaches, and a team physical therapist. Meanwhile, authorities have confirmed a grade 4 student died following a deworming activity at a local school in the Philippine National Police. 13 Martires Police, along with the Department of Education, are now coordinating closely to launch an investigation of the incident and ensure accountability.
Defense Secretary Gilberto Teodoro Jr. reaffirmed the Department of National Defense's commitment to protecting the West Philippine Sea as the country marked the 10th anniversary of the 2016 Arbitral Award. After joining the National Peace Walk, Teodoro visited Pag-asa Island, where he assured residents of faster government action to improve livelihoods, education, and other essential services in line with the directive of President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. The Philippine Coast Guard also reaffirmed its commitment to safeguard Filipino fisherfolk in the West Philippine Sea, saying it will continue deploying its assets to protect their rights and livelihoods. Furthermore, the defense chief has described as brainwashing propaganda and mental deficiency the claim by Chinese scholars that Batanes is part of China. Teodoro said the claim has no legal or historical basis. While the remarks did not come from the Chinese government, he said they should still be taken seriously, citing China's political system and national security laws.
The worst of inflation may finally be over for the Philippines. According to Nomura Global Research, surging price pressures appear to have peaked thanks to easing global oil prices pulling down headline inflation. Nomura has trimmed its inflation forecast for 2026 to 5.1% and slightly lowered its 2027 outlook to 3.1%. The group also narrowed the current account deficit projection to 4.4% of GDP, while keeping growth steady at 4.6% for 2026. The message? Inflation may be cooling, but underlying pressures mean monetary tightening isn't over yet. The Board of Investments, or BOI, approved 461 billion pesos worth of proposed projects in the first 6 months of the year. This is up by 20.82% from the 382 billion pesos seen a year earlier. The 124 approved ventures are expected to generate over 14,000 direct jobs for Filipinos if realized. Tennis star Alex Ayala held an exclusive meet and greet with Nike Philippines with Scarlett Kramer among those in attendance. Scarlett, who has been playing competitive tennis for more than half a year, couldn't hide her excitement after finally meeting and hugging Ayala. The young athlete first trained in Taekwondo before changing her main sport to tennis. She has since competed in several tennis tournaments as she continues to develop her game. After weeks of intense action at the 2026 Wimbledon Championships, Linda Noskova of the Czech Republic and Jannik Sinner of Italy emerge as the new Grand Slam champions. Noskova captures her first ever Wimbledon title, defeating fellow Czech Karolina Muchova in a 3-set final with a score of 6-2. 5-7 and 6-3. Meanwhile, Sinner claims his second consecutive Wimbledon title after defeating French Open champion Alexander Zverev with a score of 6-7, 7-6, 6-3, and 6-4. Just hours after lifting their trophies, the two champions performed the traditional champions dance to Justin Timberlake's hit song Can't Stop the Feeling at the Wimbledon Champions Ball. Both players are expected to return to action at the Canadian Open, which begins on August 2nd.
A fire engulfed a pub in Bangkok last Saturday night, killing 27 and injuring 66 others in one of Thailand's deadliest fires in recent years. Meanwhile, Typhoon Bavi has battered Taiwan, Japan, and China, forcing millions of residents to evacuate. Let's have more international developments from CJ Reyes.
Before we wrap up tonight's newscast, we bring you the results of the PCSO's 9 p.m. lottery draws. For the Mega Lotto 645, the winning numbers are 43, 32, 26, 22, 16, and 33, with a jackpot prize of 15 million pesos. For the Grand Lotto 655, the winning combination is 51, 15, 26, 37, 6, and 55, with a jackpot price of 73,989,083 pesos and 89 centavos. For the 4D Lotto, the winning combination in exact order is 8, 9, 1, and 1. For the 3D Lotto, the winning numbers are 9, 5, and 8. And finally, for the 2D Lotto draw, the winning numbers are 11 and 23. There is no winner for the Mega Lotto 645 and Grand Lotto 655. Motorists should expect mixed fuel price adjustments starting tomorrow, July 14. Diesel prices are set to increase by between 2 pesos and 62 centavos and 4 pesos and 62 centavos per liter. Kerosene prices are also expected to go up between 2 pesos and 22 centavos and 4 pesos and 22 centavos per liter. Meanwhile, gasoline prices may either increase or decrease by as much as 1 peso per liter depending on the oil company.
Meanwhile, President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. is heading to Singapore tomorrow for a working visit. The trip aims to further strengthen bilateral relations with the president, scheduled to meet Singaporean Prime Minister Lawrence Wong, as well as private investors. I think this is going to be a great advantage for the Philippines, considering that Singapore is one of the biggest sources of foreign direct investment.
Yes, and also its proximity to the country is not that far, so trade and everything else will be easier and there, so that's something to look forward to.
Yeah, it is.
And those were the latest from the IBC Newsroom this evening.
We'll continue to monitor the stories that matter and give you updates as they develop. I'm Angela C.
And I'm William Thio. This is 30 News. Thank you for watching. Good night, everyone.